Dan O'Dowd from Nashville, Tennessee. This is segment number 2 in the player development conversation. Tonight we're going to focus on the development cycle of a Hall of Fame player from the minute he showed up in an organization to the time he ends up in the Hall of Fame. So this jersey right behind me is the young man we're going to talk about tonight. Got the pleasure to be a part of Jim Thome's career. I was with the Indians running their scouting and development area, and we drafted Jimmy in the 13th round, 1998, out of Illinois Central College in Peoria, Illinois. Say that again, 13th round draft pick. Jimmy Thome did not come into our organization as a Hall of Fame player, but he ended his time with the Indians on the path to be a Hall of Fame player. Some things that stood out for me about Jimmy immediately when he showed up in St. Petersburg, Florida, after the draft. He had exceptional control of both the strike zone and pitch recognition at a very early age. His first full season out, he was in Elizabethton. Burlington was playing there. He was assigned to the club. The thing that really stood out for me, he had 4 at-bats, 25-plus pitches. Probably had 15 swings that night. He took the barrel of the bat to the ball all over the strike zone against a lot of hard throwers from the right and from the left. I knew then we had something exceptionally special in Jim. Jim had competitive greatness kind of from day one. Really interesting though, 16 home runs his first year out in 1990. Then I think he hit 7 and then he hit 3 until 1993 in Charlotte, North Carolina. Then he got blessed to be around Charlie Manuel. Charlie, for me, is the best hitting guy I've been around, one of the best coaches I've been around in my career. Charlie created an authentic relationship with Jimmy and went to work on some things that he saw. He saw Jimmy hit everything the other way when he was young, and we loved that about Jimmy. We just knew there was a lot more there. He stood far back from the plate. Charlie got him up on the plate, did a ton of flip work with him, trying to get him to feel the ball out in front of the plate a little bit more. Those balls that now were away to him, he started to drive to center field. He got a little bit more rhythm with that point that Jimmy got to create some timing in his swing, and they just clicked. Important part of that story is that Jimmy had competitive drive to be great, but he needed a great coach and coaches to help him get there. Jimmy had some special qualities, like all great players have. He had some things that really jumped off the page at me. One, he was very present focused. Jimmy, every single day, Jimmy showed up and all he focused on is how do I get better that day. Number 2, he never let anything failure from the day before affect him in that moment, that specific day. It fueled his fire, but it didn't get in the way from the learning experience that he would use to apply that day and how to get better. And the next thing Jimmy did exceptionally well, he controlled only what he could control. So many young players get caught up in when are they going to get promoted? Why are they hitting here in the lineup? Why does the coach not look at them the same way they look at themselves? Jimmy never got caught up in any of that. Jimmy got caught up in only competing every single day to be the very best he could be. Big difference, Jimmy loved the game. So many young people talk about they have passion for their sport. Big gap between passion and love. When you have passion and you hit tough times, you may not love it so much. The people that love the game, they love it all the time. They love it no matter if they're playing well. They love it if they're playing poorly. They love it all the time. Jimmy loved it all the time. And the last thing that Jimmy did exceptionally well, he loved his teammates. Jimmy never played the game for his own personal glory. He never played the game for his own personal numbers. He played the game emotionally connected to his teammates, whether that was in Cleveland, Philadelphia, Minnesota, Chicago, any stop along the way. Jimmy was one of the best teammates I was ever around, and that made him as great a player he ultimately became. So defined focus, a competitive heart, staying within the moment, understanding the strike zone, learning his swing, understanding his swing, being able to make adjustments with his swing. All those characteristics laid a foundation for him in the Cleveland Indian organization for him to really learn the kind of player he was. So as I said, he did not come in to the organization as a Hall of Fame player, but by the time he left the Cleveland Indian organization, he was now on his way to being a Hall of Fame player. That's it. I'll see you next week for segment number 3. Dan O'Dowd signing off from Nashville, Tennessee.